Hello everyone, how are you? Today I'll show you a simple blinking eyes animation in grease pencil and how to add an eye highlight as well. You can use this technique in your 2D drawing and in your 3D object too. It's gonna be the same process with some minor variations. I actually love using the grease pencil for drawing eyes on my 3D objects. As you can see, it kinda adds a bit of cuteness. Okay, let's begin. Here I have my grease pencil drawing and I will also be showing you the differences when it comes to drawing the eyes on your 3D object. First of all, the eyes. Make sure you are in frame 1. Let's make a new blank grease pencil object. Let's go to draw mode. I'm gonna disable use lights because I will not use any lights in my project. And I already have a material with the color I want, but you can make a new material. In this case, I am in camera view mode because I drew my entire project in this view, but this will depend on your project. I chose origin as my stroke placement and my drawing plane is set to view, but again this will depend on your project so you don't end up with strokes on the wrong view. I want my strength all the way up and let's draw an eye. You could draw the other eye, but I decided to use a mirror modifier instead. Make sure your grease pencil object is in the right place. If you want to draw eyes on a 3D model like this one, set your stroke placement as surface, and changing my surface offset to 0 worked out for me, but you may need to try other values close to 0. Here I have my 3D model and I will draw the eyes in X-ray mode because I had my image reference behind my model. For this particular model, I decided to change the strokes line type to squares. Now the highlights. You could draw them in a different layer on the same grease pencil object, but because I will add a noise modifier to the highlights only, I won't do that. And in object mode, remember to be in frame 1. Let's make a new grease pencil object. This time we're gonna draw the highlights. Let's go into draw mode. Remember to be in camera view mode or the viewpoint you are working from. I'm pretty new to the grease pencil and many times I just forget about my viewpoint and have to draw everything again. And remember what I said about these two settings. If you're drawing this on a 3D object, change this one to surface. I'm gonna change my highlight color to white with a bit of warmth because I think it will look better with my warm tone drawing than if I just choose a pure white material. I disable use lights. I will leave my strength at 1 and just draw the highlights. There are different places where you can place your highlights. You could smooth your lines. And you could also smooth the eyes. Now how to make the highlights twinkle a bit with a noise modifier. At first my little dots were disappearing, so I tried different values and these are my final values for the 2D drawing. And here we have it. And these are my final values for my 3D objects. Because I don't have smaller dots in these highlights, I could crank the position values a bit. Now for the blinking effect. This is a really simple blinking. A more complex effect will consist in animated and in-between frame with the eyelid mid-closing, but I won't do that. Let's select the eyes and go to draw mode. I'm gonna go to frame 11, but you can animate the blink in the frame you want. I'll be using the same material, and in the 3D viewport, press I and choose Insert Blank Keyframe. Now enable the overlays and enable onion skin so we can see our previous frame to use it as a reference. Remember to be in the correct viewpoint. In my case, I'm still in camera view mode, and draw a closed eyelid. I have my mirror modifier, so I don't need to draw the other one. And in sculpt mode, I'm gonna smooth the strokes a bit. And I'll move them a bit with the grab tool. And after the blink keyframe, duplicate the first frame with the eyes open. And here we have it, but now we need to hide the highlights when the eyes are closed. So in object mode, let's select our grease pencil object, and in draw mode, first let's duplicate the first keyframe and paste it in the frame the eyes open again. In my case, it's frame 12. And let's go to the same frame the eyes closed. In my case, it's frame 11. Press I and add a blank keyframe. And here we have it. For the 3D object, it's the exact same method. I'm gonna leave the closed eyelids for one more frame, so now they will open at frame 13. And remember to change the keyframes in the other grease pencil object as well. And we could loop the blink using the time offset modifier. Since my last frame is 13, I will enable custom range and set 1 as the start and 13 as my end. And I'm gonna do the same with the highlights. And this is too fast, so let's move the keyframes again. And here we have it. The blink might be a bit robotic with the time offset modifier, so you could just duplicate the frames whenever you want your character to blink. Just remember to pair the highlights keyframes as well. And if your grease pencil object is looking odd, just move the eyes forward a bit. And move the highlights a bit further than the eyes. And you could add some variations like the frowning eyes I tried to make here. Or in this model, for example, I just drew some simple eyes with no blinking and just added a noise modifier with a really low number. And here it is. If you want a video on how I made this project, leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!